resources, flashlights and batteries, and know where your safe spot is to go to in case of a major storm.
For hurricane coverage, there's only one network, the ZNS Network. You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, Acting Prime Minister the Honorable I. Chester Cooper meeting with EOC agencies on Grand Bahama post-Hurricane Nicole. Members of the official opposition assessing their respective constituencies. And a local farmer is devastated that his crops were destroyed during Hurricane Nicole. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, touched down on Grand Bahama to assess the damage of Hurricane Nicole. The Acting Prime Minister and a host of delegates making their way following the assessment of the airport to the Emergency Operations Center here on the island to address the many government agencies and all those involved in the EOC. Joining us live in studio is our Aja Quant. Aja, what was the mood like in the room once the all clear was given and the Acting Prime Minister came?
Well, Ramiko, it was a full room with not only the Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, but a host of ministers, senior government officials, and government agency reps. Many of those persons breathing a sigh of relief as Nicole had already passed and that there were no serious damage from east to west and no loss of life reported. Now, the Acting Prime Minister making it his mission to visit the island, noting that he is pleased with the outcome following the storm. All smiles coming in from the Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, who immediately came to Grand Bahama from Abaco following the passage of Hurricane Nicole. The Acting PM delightfully noting that both islands fared well with no bad reports.
Our government is committed to the ongoing development and advancement of the island of Grand Bahama, the improvement of your infrastructure, the improvement of your economy, and delivering more opportunities for you. So it's no coincidence that we are here immediately once the airport was cleared today.
DPM Cooper standing on the government's commitment to Grand Bahama, noting that it's not just words, but through resources and assets.
We are here to stand with you to show you that we recognize that even since Hurricane Dorian, there is still much work to do with your infrastructure, with the care of our people, with the attention that's needed towards the mental health of our citizens, and the ongoing growth and development of the island of Grand Bahama.
The Acting PM expressing gratitude also to the Disaster Preparedness Management and Reconstruction Minister, the Honorable Miles Larota, and the entire team involved for having diligently managed the process of the crisis while communicating effectively.
I was very pleased to hear everywhere I went in the country over the last few days how comforted people were that the communications were clear and the process was seemingly very well organized. I can tell you that that was not by chance. And I tip my hat to Minister Larota, Captain Russell, and everybody involved in the process.
Now, Ramiko, the Acting Prime Minister also noting that the Prime Minister has indicated his and the government's commitment in ensuring that they continue the work that they've started in the past year, restoring, recovering, and investing in the island's infrastructure. Live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Aja Quant, throwing it back to you, Ramiko, at the desk.
Thanks so much, Azure. Now, also at the Emergency Operations Center were multiple government agencies giving an update on their assessments. Officer in charge of the Ministry of Social Services, Dorothea Gomez, noting that 12 shelters were opened during Hurricane Nicole, 9 in central Grand Bahama and 3 in the Western District. Gomez adding that there were a total of 109 people occupying the shelters and no incidents were reported.
We are beginning our assessments. We will have assessment teams beginning on Saturday throughout the island of Grand Bahama to see how we can help, with my minister's permission, help the persons that were affected by the hurricane.
Now, the Ministry of Environmental Health said that they have started inspections at various food establishments and all cemeteries.
No grave sites were compromised. We did inspections for flooding starting at West End, and we went all the way to McLean's Town. There were minor flooding, and in some areas we expected flooding. The Department of Environmental Health Services would like to advise the public that lava siding will begin Saturday morning, and fogging will begin Saturday evening starting at 6 p.m. We will start from West End and we will be ending in Hepburn's Town, and on Sunday evening we will conclude fogging in all other areas.
Now, the news that Tropical Storm Nicole would take aim at the Northwest Bahama Islands was concerning to many, as the island of Grand Bahama is still reeling from the devastation of Hurricane Dorian back in 2019. Now, Member of Parliament for East End, Kwesi Thompson, said it was pleasing to see his constituents take the necessary precautions. He says Nicole presented some setbacks, but after canvassing the area overall, the areas fared well.
We were apprised of what the challenges were that persons were having on various islands. The repair of homes that have been damaged since Dorian is a very serious concern. A lot of the anxiety in Grand Bahama was related to the fact that persons still had challenges with roofs that were leaking. The second thing that we clearly noticed is that debris, a significant amount of debris, is still on the ground.
Now, Central Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Iram Lewis also giving an update on his constituency. He notes that vulnerable areas like Williamstown and Russelltown were not significantly impacted by the storm.
Businesses in my constituency and businesses throughout the island of Grand Bahama, and also Abaco, which we observed, they experienced significant flooding, significant storm surge, significant property damage. And it was a significant setback to the repairs that were already in progress.
So until we experience full recovery, the search order should be extended, and we should do all that we can to ensure that those islands are empowered.
In other news, officials from the Royal Bahamas Police Force say that no crime was reported during the passing of Hurricane Nicole in Grand Bahama. Our ZNS News team speaking with Inspector Mick Sayers on the matter, and he says the criminal element was non-existent as police were on full patrol. Businesses were closed and residents throughout the island of Grand Bahama hunkered down for Hurricane Nicole. The storm contained maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, with rainfall that caused flooding in some areas, along with isolated power outages. In the event that some would use the opportunity to break the law, Inspector Mick says the police were out in the elements, and he's happy to say that no crime was reported.
During the storm, we had no reports of any major or minor incidents. However, we knew that the Fishing Hole Road Bridge was inaccessible at the time. However, it has since been reopened. We strongly advise residents while traversing the streets, making checks of their homes and businesses to drive with extreme caution. We also ask that if they have any matters to report, to please call 911. Or 35031, or they can stop at the nearest police station and report the same.
Once the all-clear was given by the meteorology department, he says efforts were increased and they conducted inspections of the island.
One of the first things that we engage in is We continued our foot and mobile patrol, assessing all the areas so that we can properly inform the relative authorities of what we discovered. We remain resilient in our duties to make the island of Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas safe for all residents and visitors alike.
As for Bimini, Abaco, and the Berry Islands, Sears says they also had no reported matters of crime.
There was no major or minor reports reported to the police other than the information in regards to flooding in certain areas, debris, all of the shelters on those islands are now closed, as well as on Grand Bahama.
Well, the landscaping of Bay Garden Farms was compromised during the passage of Hurricane Nicole. Our Jolanda Thompson Everest speaking with the owner of the farm, who is devastated about the state of his crops, which was the main source of income for himself and 10 employees. Here's that story.
The wind was still blowing when I got here, and I took a look at it. It was looking disgusting at the moment, but there is nothing else I can do. Just look at it, just have a look. That's all.
The gusty winds and heavy rainfall that came with Hurricane Nicole left 90% of Bay Garden Farms, trees, and shrubs in ruins, sabotaging the view of the place and scarring its farmer, Alpha Celestian. The damages were an estimation of $85,000. The farmer noting that although he may be appealing for help, he's now figuring out a way to move on with the bits and pieces in which his farm is left in. Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Iram Lewis, says although his friend is discouraged, he says he wants to inspire him to get back to farming despite the situation around him.
I want to encourage him to just get back to it, because if you think about it too long, you may become discouraged. And also send an appeal to the powers that be. As a government, we must find ways to protect our fishers and farmers. During any hurricane, our fishers lose fish traps, they lose their pots, and there's no way to protect them. Farmers lose a whole lot, and getting insurance for them where they can recover is a very difficult process, so we must find a way to protect them.
I'd been here before, and I'd seen his farm, and I was impressed with the work that he had done. And then coming here to see the devastation has really, it has almost broken my heart. Well, I'm impressed that Mr. Celestian, even though he has lost 90% of his crop, he is determined to continue. And that is the encouragement I wish to extend to all farmers here on the island.
Our society and our island, our nation in many ways, from this hurricane, even though it was a Category 1, has been negatively impacted. So what we wanted to do was basically get an idea of how severely it was impacted, and that way we can try to forge a response and be able to help in areas where we can and where it's mostly needed.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Certainly sad news to hear there. Well, you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news when we come back.
On down. Come on down now.
Bahamas says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Connet Bahamas are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Connet Bahamas is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Well, this weekend, veterans will be remembered here on Grand Bahama. The One Bahamas Executive Committee will organize the 24th Annual Remembrance Day Parade on Sunday, November 13th, 2022. Uniformed youth organizations and marching bands, as well as principals, teachers, and students, have been invited to participate in the parade, slated to begin in the parking lot of the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King, beginning at 2 p.m. Then, beginning at 4 p.m., the 60th Annual Remembrance Day Church service will be held at the Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Church. An invitation is extended to the public. Meanwhile, the Bishop of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, Reverend Leish Boyd, on Grand Bahama for the Diamond Jubilee of the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King. Recently, the Anglican bishop officiated at Holy Confirmation during the morning worship service, while the afternoon was set apart for outdoor witness and other special events. Christine Pinder reports.
Proclaiming Christ as King and sharing him with others was the goal during the Diamond Jubilee service on Sunday. The hierarchy of the Anglican community was represented, among them the current rector, Canon Norman Lightbourne, former rectors, Dean of Christ Church Cathedral in Nassau, Dean Harry Bain, Archdeacon Keith Cartwright, members of the local Anglican clergy, visiting pastors, and members of the wider Grand Bahama community. In his sermon, Bishop Leish Boyd paused to thank God for the edifice that was constructed in the center of town 60 years ago and acknowledged that the grounds were dedicated primarily for God's purpose.
We already had places of worship at 8 Mile Rock and West End and East End, but a place of worship here in the center so that people who lived here wouldn't have to drive so far to church. We thank God for that wisdom, and we acknowledge that it was then that this ground and everything on it was dedicated for God's purposes.
The man of the cloth reminded the congregation that becoming better Christians can be done through several ways, but not without God's guidance.
How can we increase our dedication? This is a personal question because the answer for us may be, I know I need to read my Bible more. I know I need to take more time with my personal devotions. I know I need to go to Bible study. I come to you, Jesus. I come to you, Jesus. My heart hears you call.
Archdeacon Keith Cartwright served as rector of the church from 1992 to 1998, and during that time witnessed its membership blossom to almost 2,000 members. Because of his significant contributions to the growth and development of the church, the Social Outreach and Christian Education Center was named in his honor. For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Christine Pinder.
Well, 3 young men are now embarking on their maritime journey, and it is all thanks to Shipmate and the Falcons Boys Club, a scholarship given to the 3 seniors to obtain the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping certification. Our Aja Quant has more in this report.
Family members gathering outside of shipmate Maritime to witness their loved one receive a full scholarship to begin their career journey in Maritime. Director of Falcons Boys Club, Pastor Darren Roll, says the club provides opportunities to engage young men, one of which is this scholarship. At the end of September, the club hosted their inaugural Maritime seminar, and now they are transitioning to Phase 2, which is presenting a STCW certification courses scholarship to some of their seminar attendees.
We're going to continue to engage the business community and trying to help us to reach out to young boys as an organization. And the good thing for us is that we have the passion to do so, and we do it for free. And we're just so grateful that opportunities such as these continues to come out, that we can assist young men on the island of Grand Bahama.
STCW stands for Standard of Training and Certification of Watchkeeping. It is the basic level certification a person would need to enter the maritime industry on commercial vessels.
We do offer courses that build on top of this, but we wanted to start them at this level and then we can go from there. But it's really a course that focuses on boat safety, how to deal with hazards on board a ship, how to deal with safety familiarization, all of the different hazards and things that you encounter once you join a vessel, how to protect yourself, how to protect your fellow seafarers, and how to conduct yourself on a vessel in a socially responsible way. So we're so happy that we're able to partner up with the Falcons Boys Club to provide this opportunity for them.
Now, the requirements to obtain the scholarship includes being the age of 16 years old and also presenting reasons as to why you should be awarded the scholarship. That is exactly what Kyron Saunders, Jordan Roxbury, and Keyshawn Newbold did.
As a young boy, I was growing up in Exuma, and I always enjoyed seeing the boats coming to the docks, leaving the docks, and going to the boats myself with my uncles. Really made me love the industry. I want to have a career inside of it.
Growing up, I was exposed to the waters a lot and going on boats, stuff like that. And being with my father, doing that, it really made my love grow for it. And that's something I just decided to do and something I chased after.
On type shipmate, Falcons Boys Club, and Champs Mission for giving me the opportunity to assist in me getting the scholarship for the STCW and making it possible for me to be able to attend these courses.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
Well, the Ministry of Tourism is now known as one of the silver winners for the Magellan Awards on a recent mission trip to reveal some of the hidden gems in Grand Bahama. The ministry's documentary titled The Stingray Whisperer was recognized for highlighting the West End Ecology Tour founded by a native of the settlement. Tonight, our Shane Stubbs sits with the tour operator Keith Cooper, who says the experience is worth the while.
Thanks to the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism's mini-documentary, The Stingray Whisperer, the West End Ecology Tour's Stingray Experience Tour is now firmly in the spotlight. The ministry's mini-doc is one of the 2022 Magellan Awards silver winners, an award given out by Travel Weekly, one of the world's trusted sources for travel experiences. As founder of the Stingray Tour, Keith Cooper was quite surprised to hear about the award.
I felt, even more special after I saw the award came in yesterday, and people were congratulating me. And at first, I didn't know why they were, and then I all of a sudden realized that this was something quite remarkable. I really appreciate the opportunity to have been a part of what the Bahamas Ministry is doing to promote Grand Bahama.
The Stingray Whisperer says the tour was created to give locals and tourists an up-close encounter with one of nature's most misunderstood animals. He says the 4-hour tour starts with a briefing to give those on the tour a sense of calm before getting in the water.
By doing this ensures that the guests are not going to be, hopefully not as afraid of getting in the water with me, but I basically take them through a couple of steps to showcase the animal's behavior. And then I'll put them in the water and give them an opportunity to touch, feed, and even swim with snorkel gear in the water to watch the animals as they move around.
With a heightened passion, his inspiration to launch the experience stems from a fishing trip he went on near Sandy Key.
So I learned over the years of working with them that they're not aggressive, they're not going to attack you for no reason. And this is another aspect of what I teach people, is that the only time a stingray will hurt you is under, or hurt anyone, is under two circumstances. One, when you step on it and you didn't know you stepped on it. The second time is when they're being aggressively pursued by a shark. Those are the only two times stingrays will use those stingers. I encourage a lot of Bahamians to
try these kinds of tours, especially here on Grand Bahama. We have something quite unique to offer the world and even to our own people. And I would strongly recommend that families and their children, especially if they're interested in the marine sciences or biology, to come out and explore what Grand Bahama has to offer.
Cooper says he remains committed in his journey to educate everyone who comes in contact with the tour. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
It's now time for your Friday evening sports check with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to Sports. We've got some brief updates for you, so let's get into it. The West Grand Bahama Youth Development Association is kicking off their 30th anniversary celebration with a basketball jamboree this Saturday, starting from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the 8 Mile Rock Gymnasium.
Various amount of teams from West Grand Bahama, including the Technical Educational Center, also has a team and teams throughout the community of West Grand Bahama. West Grand Bahama Youth Sporting Association is an umbrella under the West Grand Bahama Youth Development Association. We always collaborate with each other to get things done in the western end of the island. And this is all only a part of what we've been doing for the past 30 years. Come out and enjoy yourself in a nice, decent, clean family atmosphere.
The association's 30th anniversary celebration will continue over the next few weeks. In college hoops, Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen picking up career win 150 after the Lady Rebels of Ole Miss defeated the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks 83-57. The latest win improves the Lady Rebels to 2-0 on the season. Now in her 5th year, Coach Yo's career at the helm of the Lady Rebels began in 2018, as she now holds a 150 and 129 record as the team's sideline maestro. The Lady Rebels are back in action this Sunday against the Little Rock Trojans. And lastly in sports, the Rosina Nesbitt Oriole Knowles High School volleyball action resumes this Monday. In the junior girls semifinals, the LIS Buccaneers will go head-to-head with the Tabernacle Falcons. Later in senior girls quarterfinals play, the Buccaneers are set to take on the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays, followed by the St. George's Jaguars facing the Sunland Stingers. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is your quick update on sports. I am Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath, number 16 Oak Street, phone 688-9661.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
When it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
It's a coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the this, sweet like the sugar in a dripping like ice honey. I take all of my love me, sweet like the sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, watch it go ba ba ba, watch it go ba ba ba, sweet like the sugar in a
new Clear Platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Keith Seymour, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We want to thank you so much for your continued support, and we wish you a special happy early birthday from the team here in the North. And that's going to do it for the team here in the North. On behalf of everyone, I'm Remembrance Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a long weekend, and I'm sure everyone is tired. But you guys be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. Abaco shanty towns now under inspection. The Bahamas' carbon credit model revealed to the world. Cryptocurrency giant FTX facing bankruptcy. And in sports, Bahamas Games conclave underway. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jiminita Swain, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Shanty towns resurfacing on the island of Abaco, particularly in the Treasure Key community, now being assessed by the Works Minister and a high-level team. This tour of the unregulated communities is the latest in a series of steps by government to dismantle and close in on shanty towns and illegal structures that have grown significantly since Hurricane Dorian destroyed larger ones on the island 3 years ago. Desmond Sanders has more.
The government will be cracking down on shanty towns and unregulated communities in the country. Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sayre, says his ministry will be working with several government agencies to review and survey people living in illegal structures in the country.
We have assembled a team under the Building Control Unit at the Ministry of Works, and we will be working along with other agencies of the government, that is the Ministry of National Security, Ministry of Immigration, as well as Social Services. And currently what is happening now is we're doing a survey of all of these irregular communities in terms of the number of structures who are in these structures. We have Bahamians, we have persons who are undocumented.
The move to survey unregulated communities comes over heightened calls for government to address the growing presence of shanty towns, particularly over here in Abaco and Treasure Key, where over 160 illegal structures have been erected. Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, John Binder.
It's a community that needs attention. We need to make sure that we have an even playing field for all residents in Abaco in terms of building and having the proper permits and paperwork established, and making sure we have the proper sanitization infrastructure put in so it doesn't compromise our well fields that supply the water for Abaco. Our well fields start very shallow in the ground and they extend throughout all of Abaco. So if it's compromised in one area, it'll compromise the water for all of Abaco.
An investigation also been launched into the development of unregulated shanty towns in the Blackwood community of Eleuthera, an area recently toured by the Minister of Works and his team.
As I would have indicated when we were in Eleuthera with Blackwood, we have persons on land owned by the commonage in the case of Blackwood and working for the commoners in Spanish Wells. We are pleased that we have the cooperation of the Commonage Committee. Mr. Ivanhoe Sweeting accompanied us, and we will be incorporating these private partners as we design a comprehensive, multidimensional response. You have young people who, by law, must be in school, and our public school, by law, must accept them. So it involves a number of factors, and we have situations where persons who, Bahamian enterprises, which employ persons in these communities.
Now, some of these unregulated communities are on leased private or crown land. Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, says illegal squatters will not go unchecked.
The matter is actively being considered with regard how do we address people who have illegally built, who might have illegally occupied government property. Because if we tell one set of people that they can't do it, then we definitely can't let another set of persons do it. So that is actively being considered across Abaco, Grand Bahama, Andros, Eleuthera, and New Providence.
Now, the Minister of Work says his ministry will be taking a no-tolerance approach as a law will be enforced to protect the health and safety of all Bahamians. Here in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Desmond Saunders for the Bahamas Tonight.
Meanwhile, officials of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority providing an update on the construction of Abaco's Community Center and Hurricane Shelter. Chairman of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority is Alex Storr.
Based on current standards and international shelter standards, there was no way, given the square footage and the layout of that shelter, that it could hold 800 people, even though that was advertised. The new shelter, like I said, we had a refresh of it through different architects and engineers. It'll be able to hold more than it was, but it still won't be able to hold 800, but we're building it so that it can be expanded if needed and more added onto it. And then we hope that once we finish this project, it could be duplicated throughout the entire country.
Well, Storr says the Indian government has provided $1 million to complete the shelter in Abaco. He expects more funding from international donors in the months ahead. Meantime, the chairman says the agency is making progress in recovering alleged missing funds belonging to the Disaster Reconstruction Authority.
We were able to recover some of those assets. We have those at our new warehouse. Investigations are still ongoing. Our forensic audit is still ongoing as well, and so we hope that by the time that is completed, between that and police investigations that then ensue from that, we'll be able to locate the rest of the assets.
Also making news tonight, the Bahamas' Blue Carbon Credit Management Initiative, touted to the world by the Prime Minister at the CARICOM Pavilion at COP27 in Egypt today. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis Casey highlighting the importance of nature-based climate solutions like blue carbon credits. He shared with stakeholders what the Bahamas is doing to maximize and leverage opportunities in that emerging market, noting that the entire region can benefit by adopting an integrated approach.
Regional pre-COP meeting of the heads of government, which I hosted this summer, my fellow leaders reached a strong consensus that these are important issues for the Caribbean. While there are opportunities, there are also challenges. So by working together, hopefully, we can take best advantage of one and overcome the other.
Well, Prime Minister Davis also indicated that engaging with the private sector and local stakeholders is pivotal.
Regional leaders also highlighted the need for simplicity and flexibility with the instruments using in carbon markets, especially in relation to carbon pricing. Protocols should also be agreed around the effective use of revenues, application of measurements, reporting and verification standards.
You've probably heard about them in the daily weather forecast or seen them for yourself. We're talking about waterspouts. They're described as a rapidly rotating vortex formed over the water and are quite common here in the Bahamas. If you didn't know, there are two types of waterspouts, but they peak during the rainy season months of June and September. It's a phenomenon studied by Canadian-based International Center for Waterspout Research. Its director, Wayne Zalingi, is in the Bahamas this week to shed more light on this dangerous water cyclone.
Waterspouts are actually a marine and aviation hazard. They can capsize small boats as well as cause extreme turbulence for small aircraft. At the same time, they are a hazard to public along the beach because they could move on shore and knock over trees. The speed of waterspouts is governed by the mean wind at the time. So if it's a really windy day, they move a lot faster. But you can have waterspouts moving at a slower speed and still be as dangerous as the faster moving ones.
The Canadian meteorologist also looks at lightning and its impact on the Earth.
Lightning is always associated with a thunderstorm. However, a lot of people don't realize that lightning can jump out ahead of a thunderstorm, actually quite a far distance, maybe about 20 miles, and you could get hit by lightning even when it's sunny out, but ahead of a thunderstorm. Lightning can strike anywhere, but you are actually safest in your car because of the rubber tires, prevents the electricity to go all the way through the ground.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Well, in the tropics, there's nothing out there to report, save for the remnants of this tropical system, which is now some 55 miles to the south-southwest of Charleston. That's in West Virginia. It is racing towards the northeast at a very rapid pace, 47 miles per hour. And this will be the last bulletin on this system. Elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not expected over the next 5 days. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
We need to save.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
Be happy! Save at KFC with the one-piece chicken box fill-up for only $5.95. Enjoy genuine savings and the genuine flavor of KFC chicken fried to golden perfection with crispy fries, a buttery biscuit, and an ice-cold Pepsi. Only at KFC Nassau.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Another twist in the FTX saga today as the cryptocurrency exchange filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States after a bailout from its rival Binance fell through. 30-year-old founder of the exchange, Sam Bankman-Fried, has also resigned. However, he will remain to assist in an orderly transition. Taking the helm now is John J. Ray III, the lawyer who oversaw the liquidation of Enron. Earlier this week, the exchange halted customer withdrawals after hints of financial instability triggered a run on the exchange. Well, last evening, FTX issued a statement after the Securities Commission of the Bahamas announced it had freezed FTX's assets and appointed a provisional liquidator after the exchange collapse. FTX feels the commission acted swiftly to demonstrate the importance of their role in maintaining the integrity and jurisdictional reputation of the Bahamas. According to the statement, as FTX strives to do right for customers, investors, and employees, the involvement of a provisional liquidator will prove helpful in a process that facilitates the requisite due diligence for future digital assets in a global landscape. Well, it's been a long time coming. The Bahamas could very well have a new parliament in the not-too-distant future. As Carla Palmer tells us, one senior cabinet minister sees it as a top priority for government.
Minister of Public Works and Utilities, the Honourable Alfred Sayers, is making a nod in favour of it. The need for a new parliament, noting that the government is doing the groundwork toward this endeavour. He highlighted the need for more modern parliamentary facilities.
A dramatic example is that if you're in a wheelchair, you cannot enter our parliament unless you are lifted up. So the government has assembled a team of architects, engineers, and they're currently looking at different jurisdictions at the parliament of these various jurisdictions, and will be coming forward with a design for a new parliament building. And
according to Sayers, this issue is a high priority of the government.
We have to symbolize and reflect and really comply with the law. Sidewalks which are being built with the ramps so that there can be accessibility and ease in terms of the roadway. And we are also looking at some new methods and discussing it within the ministry, because when I went to Japan about 2 weeks ago, in the airport, you have on the ground like a braille-like structure which can help persons with their cane or whatever to navigate. So I think that we have a fantastic opportunity to leapfrog rather than just doing a little bit here and a little bit there.
Minister Sayers says modern public facilities with the latest state-of-the-art technology is the forward movement the government is taking.
As a matter of our democracy, constitution, legislation, we have to ensure diversity. And for those persons who are disabled, they have the same right as all of us here to access the public goods of the Bahamas.
The Public Works Minister could not say whether the same site would be used or the cost. However, he says they are scoping out other locations as well. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Now to news from the Senate. Senators passing an amendment to the Value-Added Tax Act during a full day of debate yesterday. Senators also debated a resolution to increase the minimum wage. Supporting the amendment, Government Senator the Honorable Randy Roll reasons that it will bring relief to thousands of families grappling with the high cost of living.
These increases are short-term, Madam President, and are expected to be reduced in the following months to come after price increases in stages are implemented. Over the next 4 quarters, despite all of this, this begins the awareness of the transition to cleaner, more affordable energy in the Bahamas in the near future.
Meantime, opposition Senator the Honorable Ruben Raming offered up this suggestion to help ease the burden on BPL consumers.
Could it be that I think in the instance of first-time homeowners, you have an exemption ceiling, and if you go over that, then you just pay the difference. If it was going to be a relief, then I think it would have been good to just have it there, period, and let the VAT start from 400 and above across the board, because we do have to be equitable when we do things in our overall society. Because woe unto the parent or the person who actually happened to go over 401 cents, then they automatically is going to have to pay VAT on the whole 400.
Well, the government providing key training opportunities to ensure that qualified Bahamian contractors are given every opportunity to bid on major contracts. Towards this end, a workshop was mounted for contractors today as a means of ensuring that once they bid against foreign counterparts, they stand a fair chance. Carla Palmer tells us more.
Contractors, all reportedly experienced in solarized energy, filled the training room at the NASA Training Agency Gladstone Road on Friday in hopes of winning bids in the government's procurement exercises whenever they arise. Participating in a one-day workshop, the contractors were learning more about the bidding requirements and how to properly fill out the necessary documents. Antoinette Moxie is a procurement specialist for grants with the Ministry of Finance.
The documents are very complex. So we don't want to send the documents out, and the contractors may not be aware exactly of everything that's required. And when they submit their bids, then they're disqualified because of that.
The grant is one reportedly received by the government from the European Union Investment Fund, totaling some $8 million.
We have 5 projects that we are responsible for. So there are 3 solar panel projects and 2 microgrids that we will be installing over the next 2 years.
The rooftop solarization program has already begun on the government buildings, inclusive of schools, clinics, and libraries. C.V. Bethel Senior High School, as well as Doris Johnson here in New Providence, are completed, with Family Island facilities not to be left out. Electrical engineer specialist in the program execution unit of the Ministry of Finance is Alden Austin.
And the main driver of these is predicated on the structural assessment or how the roofs look. We have to be structurally sound in order to house the panels that's on the roof. And so structural assessments needs to be done on the roofs, and from those structural assessments is determined if we can possibly put solar panels on the roof. So in total, we're looking for, the program covers about 1,500 kW, so that could range anywhere between, we have right now identified between 8 and 10 buildings.
The next public building identified to be solarized is T.G. Glover Primary School. This process is expected to begin next month in December, once school is closed for the Christmas holiday. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
As it now stands, Easy Car Rental and Sales on Gladstone Road is reportedly the first and only electric car dealership in the Bahamas. Pia Farmer is owner and managing director of the company that officially opened its doors for business in 2015.
My role here today, hopefully, is to assist with information, practical information about electric mobility, because we have been involved in it now for 6 years. So we have a lot of practice, we have a lot of knowledge, so we hope to be helpful and set a plan for the future. It's important for the country to know where it's going. Otherwise, we won't be organized. It won't be a clear path. So we need to know what the rules are, where we're going, and what's going to happen with e-mobility in the Bahamas.
Now to some sad news. Former president of the Bahamas Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists and the former chaplain of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Pastor Neville Emmanuel Scavella, was laid to rest today in a state-recognized funeral at the Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church. Among those offering condolences, pastors from across the region and acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper. He saluted the life and legacy of the late religious leader, noting that Pastor Scavella served with dedication and distinction. After the service, interment followed in the Woodlawn Garden Cemetery on Soldier Road. Well, tonight we continue to pause to remember the sacrifices made by those Bahamian war vets who served during World War II to protect the freedoms we enjoy today. Among those being recognized for their selfless service is Comrade Jeremiah Nemore. The 99-year-old served in Her Majesty's Royal Air Force 77 years ago as an aircraft engineer. He was based at the Oaksfield camp here in New Providence. He lives in Gregorytown, Eleuthera, and is an active registered member of the British Legion Bahamas branch. Also, Comrade Vernon Pinder served in Her Majesty's Royal Air Force 77 years ago as an aircraft engineer as well. He was based at the Oaksfield camp here in the capital. The 97-year-old lives here in New Providence. Meantime, the Remembrance Day ecumenical service will be held at Christ Church Cathedral this Sunday, followed by a brief service at the Gardens of Remembrance, where the laying of wreaths at the cenotaph will take place. Well, it's now time for the answer to the weekly poll question, and this week we're asked, is the government being fair with its new price controls? More than 66% of you said no, while just over 33% said yes. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Addition to the plan, but it also helps you to have what I call the rainy day money, or the unplanned for events, that it doesn't shock you and throw you all the way back in disarray and so forth. You have a contingency of savings specifically for the what if scenario in terms of things happening, unplanned things happening.
Visit ourwaxx.com or scan the QR code on the screen to start investing today.
With the peak of the winter season right around the corner, Executive Director Paul Strawn shares how the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation is diligently increasing travel from the Canadian market to the Bahamas.
We're here for the Canadian iteration of our global sales missions with the objective of re-engaging with the travel trade, with travel media, with our airline and our tour operator partners to let them know that we're open for business, it's still better in the Bahamas, and obviously to encourage more bookings for the upcoming winter season. We started off in Calgary and we did a trade event there so that we hosted travel agents to a luncheon where we gave them updates on the destination. We met with our airline partner, which is our biggest airline partner out there, which is WestJet. Then we came to Toronto where we had a media event where we were able to engage and update the media on what's happening in the Bahamas so that we can get positive placement across trade and lifestyle media in the city of Toronto. Then we're going to have a big travel agent event once again where we will give travel agents an update on what's happening in the destination. And we have a full house. We're expecting over 200 travel agents at that event. And then we move on to Montreal, where we'll do a similar event where we'll meet with the media, tour operators, with airlines, and of course travel agents. And we have a full house there as well with over 200 travel agents and media attendees. This is very important because we have to remind Canadian consumers that we are open for business, that we're close, and this streetcar promotion is a perfect way to do it because it's almost like a moving billboard. It's huge. Almost 500,000 Canadians ride these streetcars annually, so it's a really, really great and impactful way of getting our message across that we're open for business and we should be your vacation destination of choice.
For more information about our Canada Global Sales Mission, visit Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
Win
own.
a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotia Plan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotia Plan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber. Build strong.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A landmark procedure for the Bahamas performed by a team of top Bahamian surgeons over the weekend. The result of that surgery, a new wave of modern medicine in the country and a cancer-free patient. Our Anthony Smith spoke with one of the surgeons at the helm of the procedure.
Right kidney, this structure here is the right kidney. This is the kidney cancer on the left.
When Dr. Gregory Pinto first viewed these scans from a patient presenting with urine in their blood and abdominal pain, what he found was something rare.
The tumor itself is actually larger than the actual kidney itself.
Then began the quest to remove the late-stage cancerous growth, one that dangerously pressed against a number of the patient's vital organs. The remedy, a procedure the doctor had performed a number of times before, but one which had never been done before on Bahamian shores.
We were able to get an interventional radiologist, as I mentioned, Bahamian Dr. Mikhail Higgins, to cut off the blood supply minimally invasively by a process called embolization, where you basically use coils to block off the blood supply, the arteries to the kidney itself. So basically, we starve the tumor itself and kill it.
Then the task of removing the tumor itself began. A grueling 4 hours and an assist from Dr. Leonard Stevens later, and the surgery was a success.
We had to meticulously dissect off every organ that I mentioned off the kidney cancer so that we can get cancer-free margins and then take out the cancer without causing any damage to the surrounding structure. So because of that, it was a very meticulous, time-consuming surgery, but it went very well.
And with that, Dr. Pinto leaves this message for Bahamians of all ages everywhere, and that's to go get those yearly physicals and to always listen to your body.
So don't let fear stop you from seeking medical consult. Everything that, any consult that you seek for a Bahamian surgeon, urologist, physician, everything is in confidence. We provide compassionate, confidential, comprehensive care right here in this country. You don't have to go abroad and seek the same standard of care.
Dr. Pinto says he's looking to make procedures of this kind standard going forward. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoine Smith.
Well, students from private schools across the capital launched a campaign to educate their peers about chronic kidney disease. The Bahamas Kidney Disease Peer Educators is a small body established by the National Kidney Foundation. London Rowe, Leah Ferguson, and Jada Francis represented Temple Christian, St. John's College, and Queen's College. President Arjan Shetty talked about some of the initiatives planned for the organization for the remainder of the year.
This initiative is a campaign to raise awareness for chronic kidney disease among the student population of our country so we can get the message out there and prevent this condition from affecting the future of our nation. I think it's pretty effective so far. We've started a slogan and poster competition. We have weekly meetings with our volunteer group, and next weekend we're planning a walk for awareness at our key to Rawson Square.
Arjun says his grandfather has been battling the disease for nearly a decade now, and so it's only fitting for him to join in the fight.
Kidney disease is relatively forgotten when it comes to the general diseases of our nation when we think breast cancer, diabetes, etc. But kidney disease is equally as important. For example, for me, it affects me through my grandfather who's been on dialysis for the past 8 years of his life. So I want to get the message out there to students who have family members and students themselves who are suffering from kidney disease to ensure that we have enough awareness out there to make a definitive change for this movement.
Since 2016, the Give Back Girl, a nonprofit organization, has been making its presence felt in the community, spreading cheer to Bahamians who find themselves in unfortunate situations. And the organization needs your help to continue the gift of giving. LaDawn Davis sat down with the founder and host of the main event and has the details in this report.
Putting smiles on the faces of children and their families for the holidays is the main principle the Give Back Girl stands on. And to keep on giving, this Friday, the Ocean Club Golf Course will come alive for a night of art, Bahamian cuisine, topping it off with some wine at its biggest fundraiser of the year. Founder Sieska Adderley says she can't wait to unleash the artwork of the original Give Back Girl.
We've come up with Mosaic, and Mosaic is featuring my late aunt's work, Anthony Bow. She was the inspiration behind me starting the Give Back Girl. So she actually, to me, is the Give Back Girl. And so we want to feature her never before released work. She was a closet artist, always painting and drawing, but she never released it to anyone. And so it will be released for the first time at Mosaic.
Special guest host and lover of music, Roscoe Dame, says it's a family affair that will no doubt be a night to remember.
The initiative is really cool. You often think, I'm not successful enough to give back, but at any stage of your life, you can give back because you have more than you think you have. We require funds for this initiative, but getting involved and understanding how you can give and enjoy wine, art, music, food, jazz, that's just the bonus. But the real essence of what we're doing is to be able to help someone else. And it's always beautiful to pay it forward and do some random act of kindness.
While reminiscing on the strong impact the Give Back Girl has had across his country over the years, Adderley says they're currently producing a 7th series to be aired right here on the ZNS network next month.
The Give Back Girl became officially a nonprofit in 2021. We've helped several sectors of society since beginning in 2016, from special needs kids to essential workers when it was COVID, cancer caregivers. We've gone on hurricane-ravaged islands. We've done a big old party and fun fest for the kids who would have survived Dorian. We would have done that in 2019. Our latest project in 2021 was the transitional homes at the back of the Ramsley property. We designed the interior of that, and so we've done quite a bit, I would say, in a short period of time, and it's only going to get bigger.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week. Any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
Investigations continuing into that homicide on the island of Exuma. Police say that after 11 last evening, gunshots were heard in the Rollville area. When the police arrived on the scene and checked the area, they discovered a man with multiple gunshot wounds lying through a track road. Authorities are looking into the circumstances surrounding the incident. If you have any information that can help them, please call 919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jiminita. Outside of our studios, we are under mostly cloudy skies, temperature at 82 degrees, the relative humidity at 77%. Winds out of the south at 8 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,014.3 millibars, that's 29.96 inches, and your pressure is rising. Temperatures around the family violence this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 80 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greenville, Key, Apico, Marshall, Apico at 82 degrees. The Berry Islands 80, Allenstown, Bimini 81 degrees, 83 in Harper Island and Roxana, Ultra, Black Point, Exuma, Kent Space, Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 82 degrees. 83s in Allenstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, Exuma, Ragged Island, Clarence, San Long, and Crooked Island all reported 85 degrees. Betsy Bay, Maguana 84, Ackless 84, Matthew Town, Nagua 83, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 83 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwestern Islands tonight, southerly winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights are going to be around 2 to 4 feet. Your high tide at 9:40 tonight. In the central and southeastern islands, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then tomorrow, Saturday, in the northwestern islands, the winds become southwest ahead of an advancing cold front. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will take place at 10:04 in the morning, with a low tide at 4:37 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Saturday, that persistent southeasterly flow at 10 to 15 knots will continue, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then on Sunday, in the northwest parts of our country, the winds will flow out of the northwest behind that frontal system. Speed still around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide 10:47 in the morning, low tide 5:24 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Sunday, the winds are going to be light and variable with flat seas 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Let me show you what's going on. Let's go down the bush. I woke up yesterday and I was so hungry. I had money in my pocket but confused but what to eat. I'm a $5 on the code.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Before you knew it, Eddie came walking by. He had crab juice on the mouth. He looked at me and smiled.
Awesomely, this is a beautiful experience. I can't lie. This is my first time doing this sort of charity work, and I mean, it feels good to help out, you know. There's a can drive coming up and other initiatives are part of the Giving a Helping Hand campaign, and I encourage anyone that's willing to lend their support in any way, shape, or form to come through and give of your time.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Come for the specials and stay for the savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.79. Hunt's tomato paste, 12 ounce, $1.95. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Panama raw shrimp, $41.50, 12 ounce, $5.99. Baking potatoes, 5 pounds, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Friday. I'm Charles Fisher. It's a busy night. Before we move here from Breezes, we're going to go over to the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gymnasium, where the Bahamas in a few minutes will be taking on Panama in the second leg of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. We saw Team Panama arriving here earlier today. What I can tell you, they have size, but the Bahamas will definitely be ready for them. Also this morning, right here at Breezes, the Bahamas Games 2023 officially launched. This weekend, Family Island delegates are in town for a conclave. Welcoming them was the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bole.
We welcome all of you from the Family Islands and thank the Almighty God that we all have survived yet another storm, and those who were impacted in Grand Bahama and Abaco. On behalf of the government and the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it is indeed a special honor and privilege to address you this morning as we assemble to advance the framework for finalizing the plans for executing an heroic and indeed massive undertaking as represented in the 6th edition of the Bahama Games. You will recall the 5 previous versions of the Games have occurred beginning with the inception in 1989. So as to place the upcoming episode of the Games into its proper context, it is important to note that the earliest notion of such a truly national sports undertaking was first envisioned in 1965 by the late Honorable Paul L. Adley.
You had a chance to speak with the assistant chairman of the Bahamas Games, Sharon, the general store.
Having brought the Family Islands in, so they can ask questions and ensure they are familiar, not only with the games themselves, but particularly with familiarity with federations. And what lays ahead is what they want to do, because the federations are responsible actually for the staging of the games in terms of play.
Having not had the games in 21 years, quite a long time. A lot of work has to be done over the next 2 days in such a short time.
Well, don't forget now, this is our second conclave, and we've been out into the Family Islands. Therefore, we have accomplished a lot already. However, there's much more to be done. And don't forget now, Mr. Lundy and myself and a couple others in the Secretariat, even those 21 years, we are very familiar with this process. What we're hoping to do is to incorporate what the ministers announced as the island games, whereby each island, not grouping islands, each island has some kind of sporting activity to prepare them for the Bahamas Games.
And that's going to put a wrap on Sports Friday, but before we get out of here, 2 national teams away. The Carifta Triathlon team, they are in Bermuda. They'll start competition on Saturday and will also compete on Sunday, and they are expected back home on Tuesday. Also away is the Carifta Water Polo team. They are in Florida for a regional competition. They too will start competition later on this evening in a big game, and then on Saturday and Sunday they'll be back in the pool, and they too will return home on Tuesday. But the big game tonight, Kendall G. Isaacs Gym, do not miss it. The Bahamas taking on Panama in the second leg of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Following this game, the Bahamas will take on Argentina once again Sunday at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium. Come on out in your colors this evening and cheer on Team 242.
The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
Win
own.
a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotiaplan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotiaplan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing a troughing still across the Bahamas, and that could fire up 1 or 2 passing showers during the course of the night. And our forecast for the night, looking at mostly cloudy conditions, a couple of showers in the mix, 74 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, it's going to be partly sunny with an isolated shower here and there, but the high temperature just around 83 degrees. Your extended weather forecast over the next several days, isolated showers right into Sunday, but come Monday, things improve as we head into early part of next week, and we're keeping those temperatures are quite comfortable for you. They're going to be in the mid-80s, but there is a frontal system that's approaching our area that will move through sometime on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and that is what will be responsible for those showers on Saturday night and Sunday. Thereafter that, you will see temperatures dropping to about 82, 83 degrees during the daytime and gradually rising as we head into the early part of next week. But just before I leave, Suzanne Simmons, she celebrates her birthday today, so on behalf of my wife and Suzanne's husband, we want to wish her a happy birthday and many, many more to come. Jamanita?
Thanks, Basil. Just last week, they took their efforts to the folks over at Adastro Gardens. A month ago, it was a partnership with the students at Uriah McPhee. And today, staff at the Atlantis Resort found themselves at the Wolf Road-based community kitchen, continuing in the acts of service and kindness. Here's Anthony Smith.
It's as the saying goes, food is a symbol of love.
We want to give the Bahamas the best of what we have, and that comes from our hearts.
It's why the employees of the Atlantis Resort traded their usual workstations for a spot at Great Commission Ministries earlier today. Assembled all in a line, plating, packaging, and serving more than 500 meals to vulnerable community members in need.
Our responsibility and our wish for today is to give people a 3-course healthy meal. They're going to have a salad, 2 pieces of fruit, there's beef, there's fish, we even have shrimp, some vegetables and potatoes, and we're going to wash that all down with a nice healthy drink as well as an energy bar and a good dessert. And dessert today is going to be a key lime pie.
It's an initiative that comes as the Wolf Road-based ministry celebrates 35 years of service, and one that comes as food-based charities, and families along with it have been stifled by rising inflation cost.
And it's so badly needed because people are hurting so bad. We have persons, the meal that they get today from Atlantis will be the only meal they will have for the day. People, our customers come here and we serve them, and sometimes they only have 1 meal a day. So we are so grateful.
Bishop Hanchel calls the company's efforts a display of love, but Atlantis officials call it a commitment to duty, the acts of service beyond just being a corporate citizen, and all about being a part of the community.
Atlantis is very happy to come and stand alongside Great Commission, the same way we stand alongside many charities. I just want to encourage other members of the community, no matter how small or how big, if you're able to contribute to charities, particularly those who are feeding people in need, it's all about the people. It's all about people in our communities.
For service brings people together. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Anthony Smith.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. But before we go, we want to send special happy birthday greetings to Makashta Pinder. We hope that you did enjoy your day. Well, thanks for tuning in to ZNS, your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
So, Mr. Bodie, here you're doing a show. Yes, sir. It's called. Yes, sir. Why do you think is the appropriate title for the show? Well, connotates that it is an authoritative expression on issues. And I do believe that in my experience, I would have. So we deal with the issues that impact individuals and the nation. Well, I mean, why not? Well, I guess that ends that. That ends that, but it don't end that like that, because the public is invited to call in and participate in all of the shows that we're going to be doing going forward. And I'm excited. How about you? Look, H, Bodie Jr. It's the only way to go.
Private Sybil Lightburn Ford. WNC officer Private Sybil Lightburn was born in Nassau, Bahamas. In 1943, she joined the ATS and was stationed at Garrison Headquarters Annex in Up Park Camp, Kingston, Jamaica. She served as an office clerk typist at the camp and also served in the Royal Engineers Corps. At the end of the war in 1945, she returned to the Bahamas and was employed in the Bahamas Government Service. Private Shirley Wright. WNC officer Shirley Wright was born on the island of New Providence. In 1944, she enlisted in the ATS and was stationed at Garrison Headquarters Annex in the Up Park Camp, Kingston, Jamaica. Private Wright also took up further military training at the Newcastle Camp, Northeast England. Upon her return to Kingston, Jamaica, she served in various Army areas and was promoted to corporal by the end of the war. When the war ended in 1945, she returned to the Bahamas, where she continued a career in the Bahamas government sector. Private Patricia Bedford was born in Nassau. During World War II, she served as a B-2 wireless operator at the ATS in Northern Ireland.
Physical distancing isn't the same as being socially distant. I know that sometimes it can be a bit difficult not being able to engage in the in-person social activities that we did before, whether that be going to the movies or just hanging out in person. But remember that different does not mean distant. As the generation of technology, we can get creative in planning virtual parties with friends and family. Play online games with friends. Plan virtual family parties. Start a cooking competition among cousins, or do a virtual dance party. If you do gather in person, however, remember to avoid gathering in large groups. Always ensure that you wear your mask to cover your mouth and nose. And remember, wash and sanitize your hands often.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
You're watching the ZNS Network.